3, 2, 1. It all comes down to this. This is the grand finals of season 8 of the TTI League. We got I'm So Humble here playing Sabine. And it looks like we're right at the start, so they're about ready to go. But here's the deck list. You can look at these in the description if you want. This is Two Moons Luke list. It's very interesting. I think this blue-green hero deck has been underexplored. And I'm excited to see how it works into this classic Sabine deck that Humble is bringing here. Not many new cards. He's got Yularans, he's got A-list Kuras in there. But the core of the deck is stuff that's already existed. He is on 2 Darksabers, also on 2 Timely Interventions. I think that, it's just 4 cards that are non-heroic for purposes of for a cause. So, classic deck. He's done a lot of stuff and done really well into some of the other new stuff. And yeah, this Luke deck has also gone through a lot of really good players to get here. So I think we're just going to get into it. Are they ready to go? I'm going to give them the go ahead. I think this game is really going to come down to if Two Moons can have an effective early game. Because if he can, a lot of his late game stuff really can shut aggro out. Barris Offie picked up turn 1. That's one thing that got a lot of people excited about this Luke deck was the Barris include, especially for the General's Blade turn 2 play. But no General's Blade in this hand, so the Barris is actually just going to get resourced here. But Battlefield Marine into either Resupply or Village Protectors, both of those are great plays here. And Humble opening with the Sabine ping, I'm not sure what the rationale is there, especially going first. Because theoretically, if you play a unit first, you can take initiative and then play Wing Leader on it, which keeps out of range of a lot of removal here. Second Wing Leader picked up off the resource row. I imagine that this Jin is probably just going to die to the Marine. And then all of Humble's plays are going to look pretty rough. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And Two Moons goes for the resupply here, not for the Village Protectors. I think that makes a certain amount of sense. You really want to ramp so you can get to your, things like Obi's, Luke's earlier. But also, you can do a play this turn of play Village Protectors and then give it a second shield. Fleet Lieutenant comes down here for Humble, not going for the K2, just trying to push damage here. And yep, exactly that. We're going to get a double shielded Village Protectors here. And then Obi-Wan can come out next turn. And Humble really wants a Poe Dameron here. But not picked up here. Yes, this is just starting here. We're still in game 1. And Two Moon's hand looks really good here. He's got an Obi-Wan this turn, or potentially double 3s, and then he's got Luke for next turn. He can also flip his Luke this turn, so he's just going to be able to continuously shield his Sentinels, of which he's going to have several. And there's not even any space units for Humble except for this Wing Leader. looks like we're going for the double 3 play here. That's now a 4/4 shielded Village Protectors. Bean's going to crash into it. So now let's see what 2 Moons is going to do with it. He can take out both units here, or he can take out at least one, and then, but then that leaves him vulnerable to an ECL play. I think you can be, pretty confident that it's not going to be ECL Poe because that would have happened immediately. But ECL K2 is, it looks like it's going to happen here. Yep. And so K2 does die in response, but does get 3 Overwhelm in, and then 3 more from the K2 death ability. Luke deploys. He's going to take out that Battlefield Marine, leaving Sabine with no units left and the ECL used and 12 damage left on base. Now a Space Sentinel here. This is looking rough for Humble here. And this is the turn where Luke can hit the table as well, the Luke unit. Humble's looking at his options. Okay, we're going to see Cassian here. Cassian's a solid move. But Luke is just going to go out and make him no power. Yu Yang is going to finish him off. Not even lose a shield. That Luke Restore is going to be online next turn. I think this one's over. Ewing Reinforcement, even more over. Luke wins unless he top decks 2 Forecauses. Even so, like the Luke Restore gets around that, so. Well, there's the first Forecause. Boom. Boom. And then he sees the second one. He hits all 4. But Luke's going to restore 3 here. There's a Sabine. And Sabine is going to get met by Ewing Reinforcement. And this Ewing, it can pick up. There's lots of options here. Thinking of an Obi-Wan would be nice. Kanan would be nice to get even more healing. Obi-Wan plus Alliance Dispatcher would be interesting. Yep, and that's going to be the play. Alliance Dispatcher not doing a whole lot right now, but it's another unit. Obi-Wan is just going to wall off that ground arena. And he's going to get a shield from this Luke attack also. And Humble's just going to call it. All right. Good game. And 2 Moons taking a pretty quick one. I do think that Humble's opening there by opening the Sabine Ping put him on a very bad path because the Jin just got immediately eaten by the Battlefield Marine. A play like that sort of makes sense if you're trying to, arena dodge them. Like you're waiting to see if they go space, to decide if you want to go space. But he only had ground units in his hand. He didn't have a 2-drop space unit. So I think that was possibly a play that cost him the game. But while their players are sideboarding, let's take a look at these deck lists again. And again, they're linked in the description. Two Moons has got a lot of stuff in here for control matchups. But he does have some things that might come in here. Mystic Reflection maybe comes in. I think it's mainly to deal with Phantoms, but could potentially be useful in this matchup. The third Conquered Dungeons Interceptors is probably going to come in. We might see Hello there to deal with some units. But the rest of the stuff I think is pretty much in there for control matchups. And then on the Sabine side, Humble does have a couple things that can help in the long game, like the third copy of Timely, two Ewing reinforcements is interesting as well. Disabling Fang Fighter is like a maybe if you feel like General's Blade is a problem. I bet he was hoping for Dispatcher to ambush him right away. Oh, that's a good thought. Yeah, that could be why you open Ping there, is to try and ambush into a Dispatcher or a potential like Barris or something. But I still think it's a risky play to do with no space units in hand. This is the bracket, how the players got here. Humble had to fight through some control matchups. He fought through the Palpatine Blue, fought through Maul ECL, which is not exactly control, but then he didn't really fight through many control decks, but beat one of the other Sabines, then beat them all, then beat Palpatine Blue. Two Moons had to fight through a lot of slower decks, winning against Bosk Blue, and then Anakin Blue, which isn't quite control, but Vico's playing it kind of control-y, and then Lalu Bunkwilla Target Town, which is more of a mid-range deck. So this is the first time he's faced off against a real aggro deck. And we're getting started with game 2 here. It's all on the line. And Humble's not going for the greedy play here. The Marine does get a hit off, but Two Moons finds his resupply again, and Humble's going to space. And no space answer for Two Moons picked up off the top deck here, so this red 3 is going to be unanswered for at least a little while. Shakti is a solid play here. Not a card a lot of people might be familiar with. But it's a token generator. I think Humble might be considering ECLing it to stop it from going off. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. There's no overwhelm damage, right? Oh, no, there is because of red 3. Yeah. And this game is looking a lot different here. Humble using that ECL to really dominate this board. He's got 3 strong units out. Although it is turn 6 resources. Luke can flip here. Obi-Wan can also be played here. There's no ECL for like a Poe to really throw things in the mud here. But Two Moons is now up to 21 damage on base. with 3 more guaranteed from the K2 and a 4 cause in hand. Two Moons goes in, kills the K2, takes 3 more. Sabine attacks, does 1 more. And there's a Poe. And Two Moons has to have an immediate answer for that Poe. Otherwise, that plus him plus 4 causes is lethal. Two Moons does pick up a Rival's Fall. But I think he's just going to lose anyway to this red 3 attack. He'd go Conquer Dawn Interceptors to block the red 3. But then the Poe attacks, does 2 to base. Combination 4 cause, kills it. Luke here takes out the red 3, but then Poe 4 cause is going to get you there. And I think we're going to see a game 3. Yeah, you gotta get that 1 damage in there. And if this 4 cause hits all 4, that's game. If it hits 3, it's game next round because of the Sabine ping. Poe's gonna attack and hit the base there. Yep. And here's 4 cause. Boom. 1 and 2. And we're going to game 3. He only hit 2. All right. That's all he needed. And it all comes down to this. And it looks like Humble's actually going back to the sideboard here. Game 3. All right, here we actually do see Humble have the space and the ground unit here. So the bait play does seem more reasonable. Two Moons has initiative, so he doesn't even need to do the bait play. He's going second. It looks like Two Moons drew an Alliance Dispatcher, but resourced it. I think that's fair with this hand, especially. You've got all 3 drops. I think this was one of the big drawbacks of Alliance Dispatcher. It saw a lot of play like in testing, like before the game came out, really, but it was just so vulnerable to getting ECL'd early that it never made its way into a lot of decks. I remember in the top 8 of the very first TTI league, I was playing Luke, and I ran up against Astrotech on Boba Green, and he ECL'd my Dispatcher. Turn 1. I didn't even have a 3-drop. I was banking on playing a 4 with it. But here, Two Moons has got the Conquer Dawn Interceptors to answer this A-Wing, and he's also got a couple other 3-drops that could be very good in this matchup. He's not going for the Conquer Dawn Interceptors, at least not right away. And Humble is going for the Wing Leader here. That was a punish to to conquer Dawn, for sure, was that wing leader. But 2 Moons has got to be hoping for like a takedown here to clear it. Otherwise, he's got nothing. Ooh. Two Moons is now facing the prospect of being domed for 5 again by this. Oh, by 6, actually, from the Rebel Assault, plus 3 more from the wing leader. He is going to end up playing the Conquer Dawn, which, you know, it'll blunt a hit next turn from something. 2 things, actually, because of the shield now. And, you know, 2 Moons is doing fine here, but he's just taking a lot of damage. He's controlling the board, but he's doing it slowly. Now we're on 5 resources. 2 Moons didn't ramp this game either, which means he can't deploy his Luke this turn. And he's already taken 20 to base. The Yoda can maybe bring some of that back down, but he's in a bad spot. Village Protectors is a nice pickup here. Humble doesn't have a Poe, but 2 Moons does have to be worried about Poe with ECL still up. That fleet gets into the base. Battlefield Marine's going to trade with it. Wing Leader knocks off the shield on Conquer Dawn. Can Hu Yang target space units, or is it only ground units? Because a Hu Yang onto this Conquer Dawn would be pretty solid here. Two Moons does have a way, or Humble does have a way around that, which is like play red 3 and then ECL one of these ground units into the Hu Yang. Looks like he's not even going to go for the Hu Yang, just going for the village people. And Conquer Dawn is going to get wrecked by this A-Wing. Luke's going to double shield the Conquer Dawn, or the village protectors. But ground's not the threat right now, it's space. Mystic Reflection picked up. That does deal with the A-Wing. And this is the Luke flip turn. Yep, there's the Mystic Reflection. Usually not to TIE Phantoms, but it does work on the A-Wing here. Fleet Lieutenants going to go 5 into base here with red 3. 2 Moons, I don't think 2 Moons can afford to... I mean, he is going to make a play, I guess, but... Okay, and Humble is going to give him the hit here. Yoda goes back. Sabine's going to ping. So 2 Moons, I think, is going to end up with initiative here. After all that, those actions. Yep, he is. Okay. Which means he gets to play this Luke right away to deal with the red 3. And without a 4 cost in hand, 2 Moons might have stabilized this one. No Poe or Wrecker hurts a lot. Yeah. And this buffed up Village Protectors is doing work here. The Sabine now can't actually shred the Village Protectors. Normally it's great at doing that, but with the Hugh Yang buff, can't really do that. Yep. So it's going in, and it's going to do, it looks like 1 to base also. Yep. So just takes off the shield and does 1 to base. Honorable Sacrifice can now take out the protectors. I think you've got to get off an attack with Yoda here if you're 2 Moons. That 2 restore is going to be incredibly valuable. I think you basically just have to assume that you're dead to Wrecker. Because I don't think there's any way you do it. I mean, maybe like, I guess like attack Yoda into Fleet Lieutenant does mean that you're not dead to Wrecker. Not that Humble has it, but he's got to be thinking about it. If Sabine can get red 3 and claim Hero will win, right? I mean, yeah, but that's not going to happen. And it doesn't do it through, because if 2 Moons gets to claim, then he can restore with Luke. All right, it's 2 Moons action still. He's in the tank. There's so many things that you have to be worried about. I think the best way to do with all of them is to attack with these Yoda. The question is the target, right? Because let's see, K2, you're dead to K2 unless you attack with Yoda. You're dead to Wrecker unless you attack Yoda specifically into Fleet Lieutenant. You're dead to Poe, I think, no matter what. Oh no, you actually, I mean, you're dead to Poe unless you attack into Fleet Lieutenant. So I think it's going to end up, by my math, I think to play around the most things, you would have to Yoda into Fleet Lieutenant. He's considering this. I mean, this is a very greedy play. Leaves you dead to lots of things, but Humble doesn't have them, so it's going to end up working out. Red 3, which means you have to claim if you're 2 moons. And he does. Although, wait, actually, with the Sabine ping, I think Heroic Sack does it anyway, unless Ewing can find an answer to this. Oh, and Forecast is picked up anyway. So I think Humble's going to end up walking away with it. Almost no matter what. Ewing has to find a way. I mean, if Ewing found... God, what does Luminar do again? Luminar would heal 5, right? 1 for each of the units. But that doesn't get through both of these things. I mean, it gives him another action. I think the play has to be Ewing reinforcement here. Maybe it's attack with Luke, but attack with Luke we know is... It loses to Heroic Sack, which we know is in hand. 2 moons doesn't know it, but... Alright, and it's going to be home 1. Oh, is there anything... Maybe... Is there anything I missed in the discard pile? Oh, Conquer Dawn. That does it, but it doesn't beat Vorkaz. You know, and that's both the hits, and it's all 4. And I'm so humble. Doesn't have to be anymore because he is now the TTI League Season 8 champion. Well fought by 2 moons. It's just a real guessing game in the end of the Sabine matchup. That was close. Teammates had lethal on board, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 plus Luke. Yeah, Teammates had lethal on board that round if Humble couldn't get to lethal. That was intense. That was very worthy of a finals game 3 there. All right, congratulations, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. We're gonna have season 9 is gonna be wrapping up soon, and the top cut will start soon. We have until the end of November, and then within a couple days, we're gonna have deck lists for season 9's top cut. So it'll be exciting. We're gonna have top 24 this season because we've got over 100 participants. Thank you so much for tuning in, and of course, remember to always take the initiative.